So today we're doing the summarizing and paraphrasing, which is very important for note taking and ultimately for essay writing. Okay, let's go. Chinggis, could you read?
Summarizing condenses long texts into short, clear form. Paraphrasing rewrites information in new words without changing meaning. Both are needed to avoid plagiarism, show understanding of sources, often practiced together in academic writing.
Right, so summarizing and paraphrasing are two different things, right? So summarizing, you actually shorten the text into a few words, right? And you can actually use the same words from the original text. Whereas paraphrasing, you have to use different words, basically synonyms for a lot of the words, and you can sort of change the structure of sentences or the phrases. So it looks very different, but then the original content, the meaning is the same. So when you're actually reading, you actually do paraphrasing and summarizing at the same time. So say you have a book or a journal article that you have to read, and you find out the key points or the key phrases or like the key parts that you want to take into account for your essay, and you basically have to paraphrase them and then summarize some of them and then make them into a note. How they work. Okay, can you just read on?
Summarizing keeps only main ideas simple and concise. Paraphrasing uses synonyms and rephrasing, makes text different but accurate. Example of synonyms: figures and numbers. Using synonyms avoids repetition and keeps writing interesting.
Right, so for academic writing, you basically have to you basically have to read a lot. And you have to have several references to back up your argument. Right, so say, you're given an essay title on climate change, and you basically have to read at least like 10 books or articles together, right? And for that purpose, you go into those articles and the books, and you find out the key points or some parts that you want to incorporate into your essay, right? And that's why you're writing notes in preparation for essay writing. And what's very important is you never directly copy what's written in the books or the articles that you read. And if that happens, then the essay is going to be marked as plagiarism, So, and Western academics are very, very sensitive to plagiarism. So when I think for my the first few essays as well, when I was studying in Oxford, I followed the same steps. I went to the library, I spent my whole week in the library reading a lot for 10 hours a day for a whole week. And then I wrote a 5-page long essay, but then I didn't know that I have to paraphrase every single sentence. So I copied a paragraph, which I thought was very important, and when my tutor saw this, he actually marked it with a really stark red, and he said that son, plagiarism is considered the worst thing that you can do in Western academia. So you have to be very, very careful in borrowing ideas from other books or articles, and for that purpose, you have to be very used to paraphrasing. So we're going to learn how to paraphrase in this course, and also for that purpose, knowing a lot of synonyms for different words is very important because by replacing some words with synonyms, you can basically paraphrase. But there are different ways to paraphrase. All right, what makes a good summary?
Focus on main features, not every detail. Everyday example, describing Tokyo. Tokyo's huge city with modern buildings, dense transport network, and busy shopping centers day and night. Good summary gives a sense of source, leaves out unnecessary detail.
Yeah, so for a good summary, you basically have to focus on the main point or the main features of the text that you're reading, right? And I told you that when you're making a note with summaries, you really have to jot down the source of the text. So starting with the author's name, the year of publication, the title of the publication. If it's a journal, then the name of the journal article, and then the volume and number. If it's a book, then you have to include not only the title of the book, but also the year, the publisher, name of the publisher. So make sure that you include the reference, the exact reference of the original source that you're summarizing for your essay. And if you were just to include just one sentence, even so, you have to specify the reference for your source, and that's very, very important. And also for a good summary, we have an example sentence. If you were to summarize, you don't have to have a sentence form. I know that Irina likes to have sentence form, but you don't have to have it for summary. So for this case, if you were to summarize, you can just write down Tokyo, modern buildings, complicated transport network, busy shopping centers. That's it. And then you can basically just write them down in the summary, and then you can use them later for your essay. Okay, let's do some exercise for summary. Let's go into 58. So alright, so is this 57 and 8? Alright. So if you see page 57, which is the first page, it says, write a short description of one of the topics below in no more than 30 words. So A town or city you know well. B, a product you have recently bought. C, a film you have watched in the last few weeks. So you choose one of them, one from ABC, and then write the summary of it in less than 30 words. Let's do it now. Alright, so let's go into the details of summarizing more. Alright, whose turn is it? Oh, you can keep reading more. Keep folding, yeah.
What is summarizing? Summarizing reduces a long text into a shorter form. Focuses on the main ideas, leaving out examples, repetition, and minor details. Flexibility of summaries. One sentence outline captures the central idea briefly. Extended summary includes several main points, structured clearly. Why summarize? To show understanding in your own words, to give a clear, simple impressions of the topic, useful for paraphrasing, note-making, essay writing, and presentations. Key principles. Must remain accurate to the original meaning. The tone and message should not be distorted.
Right, so when you make a summarize, you can actually make into two sort of types. The one sentence outline, you find the key point, and then you try to summarize it into one sentence. That's the one sentence summary. But then when you summarize, don't try to find a main point only, because you're actually reading this text in order to use it for your writing, right? So for that purpose, maybe not the main idea, but then the subsidiary ideas that you come across in the text might be more important. In that case, you actually summarize the other points that you find a lot more relevant to your writing, all right? So if you were to just do the one sentence outline, then you summarize the whole text or the whole chunk of text into one sentence. But a lot of times, because you're reading a book or an article, you actually do the extended summary. So I told you that a lot of times people are trying to find out the main point, but then not for academic writing purpose, because you're reading it intentionally to find some sources or ideas or information or evidence that can be used for your own writing. So you find out points that are most relevant to your writing or the topic that you're trying to write. And then you can make an extended summary that includes several main points as well as very relevant examples like statistics or like figures or historical examples or like case studies that you can use in your writing. So this is very important, okay? Alright, so what are the stages of writing a good summary?
Number 1, read carefully, understand the text fully, checking unfamiliar vocabulary. Number 2, identify key points, highlight or underline the main idea, ask, what does the author really want to say? Number 3, take notes, write down key points in your own words. Begin paraphrasing to avoid copying directly. Number 4, write the summary, use your notes, not the original text. Reorganize information for clarity and flow. Number 5, review and check. Compare with the original, is it accurate, shorter and faithful? Ensure nothing important is changed or left out.
Right, so these are the very bare steps for summarizing and sort of including paraphrasing as well. So after you read the whole text, you first highlight the points that you find most relevant. You just highlight them, without thinking too much. And then, among the highlighted points or highlighted sentences, you try to paraphrase them with synonyms, or you can just make it into shorter phrases or shorter expressions, or you can just jot down like one word for like a whole entire sentence. If that's enough. And then after you write down some of the points in paraphrasing, you try to combine them all together into a summary. Okay? So that's why after you read, it's very important that you highlight or underline the important points, and then you try to sort of make them, paraphrase them all together as to make it more relevant for your academic writing. And then afterwards, you see all the paraphrase, like phrases and expressions, you make it into a summary. And that summary you'll use specifically for your own writing. And that's how you organize your notes. Okay, let's do the exercise. On page 58, it says stages of summarizing, and guys, what are you looking at? What were you looking at? The stages of summarizing, it has the 4 boxes for after, so it's actually explaining the different steps for you to summarize. So the first box says read the original text carefully and check any new or difficult vocabulary. And then there are 4 blank boxes. You fill them in. Okie dokie. So Joy, what do you think is the best summary?
Number C
Yeah?
is the first for me.
Yeah?
Number A is the second.
Yeah?
Number 3 is the B.
Okay, who has a different opinion? CBA?
BCA.
BCA? C- textbook says the best one is C.
Okay. Yeah.
The second best one is B. The worst one is A. A is the worst one because it includes the details that's not written in the original text. Because the original text doesn't actually talk much about expensive film. So it says, if you were to read A, it says the last sentence that yet today they completely dominate the market and the traditional type of camera which uses expensive film. So it's not written, it's not mentioned in the original text. So that's why A is the worst option. But I think there can be a dispute between whether C and B, which one is better. Because I thought B is better. But yeah.
It's too much detail and wordy, like a paraphrase, rather than a summary.
You think B is too much of details?
Yeah.
In what sense? Which one is too wordy?
Number B.
B, yeah. So such as?
Become established in the market, could then be developer further, The digital camera, for instance.
All right, so these are like unnecessary details, and C is more specific.
I think like in paragraph B, it
Mm.
focuses mainly on the term itself.
All right, whereas the original text focuses more on the digital camera. That makes sense.
And number A is second because it's good, but it could be better organized.
Yeah.
So if it was better organized, then it would be a number first rather than C.
Right. Okay, so C is the most specific and it gives you the most specific detail in a shorter length. And B, it doesn't actually, it's a bit wordy. So, and it doesn't specify the advantage of the digital camera, which is the important part. And A actually mentions something that's not written. Okay? Alright, so let's go on to practice B. Read the following text and underline the key points. Yeah, you actually underline the key points first, and then we're going to do the B afterwards. Underline the key points in the text. You underline the key points in the text. 50 words.
The trend to using video conferencing grows as it convenient and a good alternative to face-to-face meetings. Technology allows users to save time and money by replacing traveling and journeys. But many people find that it's difficult to see themselves on screen. Technical problems may also increase stress and make situation worse.
Very good. Okay, let's go into 20 word summary. Everybody will do it this one, okay?
The trend to using video conferencing grows. It allows us to save time and money. However, you may feel self-conscious and stressed.
Very good. Chinggis.
Video conferencing is really comfortable, but it's not natural on occasion.
Oh, very short. Okay. I think it's better to replace the word natural with something else. Because natural is too vague. Yeah, so maybe you
Something
can.
like what?
It's not convenient.
Convenient?
Yeah. Okay, Joy.
Video conference help people by being convenient and not expensive, easy to use,
Yeah.
and save energy saving that can be achieved by camera and less stressful. For some people, those who
Are you sure it's less than 20 words?
Yeah.
Really?
exactly 20.
But you omitted the cons, the disadvantageous parts, right? I think it's better to include the disadvantageous part. What about you, Bolton?
Which one?
The 20 words.
Video conferencing increases after COVID-19, which allows to save time and money, but some people feel uncomfortable on domestic atmosphere, and technical issues also increase stress.
Is it less than 20 words?
No.
You can shorten the letter part on the cones. Yeah, the cones part. Okay, so alright, so let's go on to paraphrasing. Okay, back to Chinggis.
Definition. Paraphrasing is restating information in your own words while keeping the meaning the same. Different from summarizing, which shortens the original text. Example. There has been much debate about the reasons why the Industrial Revolution happened in the 18th century Britain, rather than in France or Germany. Example. Why the Industrial Revolution occurred in Britain in the 18th century, instead of on the continent, has been subject of considerable discussion. Key idea. Paraphrasing shows understanding of text, not just copying.
Right, so paraphrasing is different from summarizing because in paraphrasing you basically retain the meaning but changes the phrases or the words. So it basically reflects your own understanding in your own words. But I mean, there are several techniques to paraphrase. in the example sentence, it actually changed the structure. So they have the key words such as Industrial Revolution, 18th century Britain, France, Germany, all these like keywords remaining, but it changed the whole sentence structure. So it started with why, the why clause, and then it changed the debate. There has been much debate into a considerable discussion. So you can see how they changed similar expressions into different words or phrases, but then the meaning is exactly the same. All right, so features of an effective paraphrase. Chingis, can you read on?
Different structure. Change sentence of the grammar or phrasing. Example: turn a statement in a question, or passive into active voice. Different vocabulary. Use synonyms or alternative expressions. Much debate, considerable in discussion. Happened, occurred. Same meaning. The central idea must remain unchanged. Common phrases can stay. Widely used academic terms like Industrial Revolution or World War II do not need to be altered.
Right, so if you want to paraphrase, you basically can change the sentence structure or change the grammar or phrases. And these are the common tactics, so you can actually change the statement into a question, or a lot of more common tactics is basically you change the active into passive voice or passive voice into active voice. So that way, you can actually retain the meaning, but then change the structure of the sentence as to paraphrase. And also, if you know a lot of synonyms, you can insert a lot of synonyms into the phrases or the sentences. That way, you can paraphrase as well. So it's important that you know various words to signify one phenomenon, one event, or one word, because you can actually make it into like different expressions and easier to paraphrase. But if you were to see like important historical events or like a key terms or like key biological terms or like statistical terms, economic terms, these key words, they stay the same, but you just change the common words. So for like a names or like concepts or the historical events, these don't change. So don't try to like change everything, but only change the common phrases or common expressions by changing the structure of the whole sentence or the grammar, such as like from passive voice to active voice to passive voice, and then by replacing the words with the synonyms. Okay, it's better to do than say. So let's go on to page 61. Practice C. Okay, it says read the text and write the 3 paraphrases in order of accuracy, clarity, and use of original language. So we have this text, the causes of the Industrial Revolution, and we have ABC paraphrases, right? So it's the same. It's the same method that we did with the summaries. So you evaluate which one is the best paraphrase, and the worst, second best one, and the third best one, and then give reasons why. Okay, which one do you think is the best paraphrase?
Number C.
Number 3, C.
Yeah.
Is it? Who has a different opinion?
BCA.
Okay, Chinggis is BCA.
BC.
BCA? What about yours?
CBA.
CBA? Actually, the best one is B. B is paraphrase main points and included specific details and then with a different structure. And C is actually the worst because it actually includes information which is not included in the original text. So it claims that Britain was the only country with significant deposits of gold, which is not written. All right?
Yeah.
And A is quite good, but it lacks the precision. It says at the time. So instead of like, saying, at the time, you have to specify it, right? And then you don't have to say like bosses and stuff. You just say labor costs, more professional word, yeah. All right, so Okay, let's move on to the techniques of paraphrasing. These are the last sort of techniques that we're gonna go over in terms of paraphrasing. So, Joy?
Paraphrasing techniques, vocabulary, and word class. Changing vocabulary using synonyms. Argues, claims, 18th century, 70s as wages, labor cost, economy, economize, savings. Changing word class, part of speech. Explanation, explain, mechanical, mechanize, profitable, profitability. These changes help vary expression while keeping meaning intact.
Alright, so if you know a lot of words and synonyms, you can actually replace the words with the synonyms, and that way you can paraphrase. And this is very useful as well. I mean, these are the expressions which are given as examples in the textbook, but there are a lot more synonyms. So if you can come across, there's a synonym like thesaurus, the synonym dictionaries that you can easily find online. So I strongly recommend that you memorize some of the synonyms in the thesaurus. I mean, that's going to help you to paraphrase very well. And also, the changing word class is a common tactic for paraphrasing. So say the original text has a word explanation in noun form, and you can change it into a verb form. And you change the sentence structure as a result. And also mechanical, if it's an adjective, then you can make it into a verb, mechanize. But then, if you were to use a different part of speech, and you have to change the grammar as well. And profitable adjective to profitability. So by changing the word class, by changing from like noun to verb, or like adjective to noun, or adjective to verb, by changing the word class, you basically change the grammar and the structure, and that way you can paraphrase as well. All right, how can we do this? Okay, word order and combination. Joy, can you read on?
Changing word or original. The best explanation for the British location of the Industrial Revolution is found by studying demand factors. Paraphrase, a focus on demand may help explain the UK origin of the Industrial Revolution. Practical note. In real writing, these three techniques, synonym, word class, word order, are combined. Do not paraphrase every single word. Some words, example, demand, economy, have no true synonyms and should remain unchanged.
Right, so we talked about replacing with the synonyms, and we talked about, what else did we talk about? All right, word class, and then the last tactic is to change the word order. In a lot of cases, it's actually changing from passive voice to active voice, or if the original sentence has an active voice, then we can change it into passive voice. All right? So you can combine these tactics. I mean, you don't have to just use just one sentence. You can combine like synonym, replacement, and you can change the word class or word order, and you can, sort of pick and choose into different combinations. But as I told you, some key terms in the fields, like statistical terms, historical events, like important concepts, some terms don't have synonyms. It's industrial revolution is industrial revolution. You can't change it into a different term, right? So in that case, don't try to change them. Especially like the key terms of the text, they have to remain the same. But the common words, they can be replaced with synonyms, or sentence structure can be changed. All right, so let's do the remaining two exercises. Okay, let's go on to 63. And it says, use these techniques to paraphrase the following text. So we have a text in the box which says, the past below the waves. So this is a text from a historical sort of journal. So you try to paraphrase this text using the following techniques that I mentioned. So replacing some of the words with the synonyms, or you can change the active voice to passive voice, or passive voice sentence to active voice, or you can change the class order, a word class. You can change the adjective into noun, or noun into verb, so try to paraphrase this text. Okay, let's go.